Hello, I'm Naya Lee and welcome to my channel. I will show you how to make an insert to go inside of a shadow box that's created in Cricut Design Space. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to my channel. The first thing I'm going to do is go to shapes. So on the left side in Cricut Design Space, it has shapes. So I'm going to click on the shapes and then go to square. I need 5 squares to start with, and I need the size to be 3.5 inches on both sides. So after I select the square, I'm going to go to size and I'm going to change both the width and the height to 3.5. Okay, so now that I've changed both the width and the height, and it has the maintain the proportions because the lock key is set, and that's fine. So I'm going to first do 1 and then I'm going to duplicate it to get 5. And I will spread them out on here so you guys can see. And this is the first one, so I'll put it in the order of the layers and I'll show why. So the first thing I want to do after I create the squares is I want to change the colors to them. And I'm going to change it from light to dark, the way that it's going to position inside of my shadow box. So the first one I'm going to go ahead and select, and then under operation at the top menu, I'm going to select to the right where it has the dark gray box that represents the color. I'm going to do a left click. And I don't want to do white because I want to be able to see it, but I am going to do this lighter gray. And then just click off and then click the next one. Same thing, operation to the right. Then I'm going to do the next gray and then so forth until I get my nice little gradient effect. Now this one is already the color, the dark color, so I'm going to leave the last one and do black. All right, so now that I have that set, I want to do a heart for Valentine's Day, something really cute. So I'm going to go over to shapes and I'm going to select the heart. Now this is kind of tiny, so I want to make it larger. So I will select the heart and then I'm going to go to the larger size because it's not exactly square. It's higher, the width is wider than the height, so I'm going to start with the width. Now I don't want it to be the full 3.5 inches, but I do want to take some and go back just a little bit. So I'm gonna go back a 1/4 inch, so basically an 1/8 inch on each side. So I'm gonna do a 3.25. So I'm just gonna select the width and I'm gonna do 3.25 and then just tab over and it'll automatically update the height. Okay, so now that I have that one in place, I can really just go ahead and duplicate it and then create it for each one. So I'm going to duplicate so each box has it. So it's going to be 5 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And all I'm doing is going to the right panel where the layers are located and selecting duplicate until I have 5 of them. So once I have them, I'll just kind of hover it close by to where that heart is located. So the first one, I want to select the heart and then hold down shift and select the box. So those two are selected. So if you look in the right side where the layers are located in that panel, you'll see that those two selections that are dark and gray have been selected. And I just want to hit align and center because I want it to be centered. Everything has to be centered in order for this effect to work. And so after that has been centered, I can really go ahead and hit slice. So I'm going to slice it so I can just get it out the way right now. And then on the right side, it has the slice results that went to the top. So I need to delete the heart. That's the dark gray heart at the top that says slice result. I'm going to go ahead and select it and hit delete. And then I want to select the gray one underneath it where it says slice result. It still says slice result, but it's the heart, and hit delete. Now I have that open, so perfect. Now I need to basically do the same thing with the other hearts with one exception. I need to change the size to each one of these hearts. So up close, I want it to be the large heart, and then as I'm going back and looking into it, I want it to be a smaller heart. So for the next one, I'm going to select that heart. I'm going to go up to width, and I am going to deduct 0.2. So this one is going to be 3.05 for the width, and I'm going to tab over. And now that it's still selected, I'm going to hold down Shift and hit the square. Go to Align, Center. So now it's centered, and it's still selected. As long as you don't select off, I still have the heart and the appropriate square selected, and I am going to hit Slice. So great, it sliced it. So now I need to do the same thing I did before. On the right side, I need to select in the right panel, layers, I need to select the heart and delete, because it'll say slice result. I need to delete just the heart, the darker gray, and then it's a lighter gray. You want to delete both of them. Perfect. Now I have two. Again, I'm going to repeat that same process, but this time I'm on the third one, so I need to deduct 0.2. And this can be any type of measurement you would like. This is what I personally use, and it works for me for this shadow box. So just before this one, we did 3.05. So I'm going to select the heart, and I'm going to change this width to 2.85. And then I'm going to tab over so it adjusts the height. And now that the heart is still selected, I am going to hold down Shift, select the square, go to Align, and Center. And then while everything is still selected, I'm going to hit Slice. And then I'm going to the right Layers panel. At the top, remember, once you slice something, it automatically goes to the top. I'm going to select the heart, delete, and then I'm going to select the other heart. So there's two hearts, and then you're going to delete them both. And there you go. Now it's open. So for the next part, same thing. Select the heart, change the size. The last size we did was 2.85, so now I want to do 2.65. So I'm going to change the width to 2.65, and I'm changing it at the top menu. Tab over, hold down Shift, select the square, go up to the top menu, Align, and go to Center. And that's when they're both selected, and then hit Slice. Then go to the right layers, select the heart, delete, heart, delete where it says the slice result. Now for the last one, I'm going to select the heart, go back up to my top menu where it says size. I'm going to change that width to 2.45 and tab over, hold down Shift, select the black square, go up to the top where it says Align and Center, and then Slice. And now I am just going to go ahead and go to the slice results and delete my hearts. All right, simple enough. Now that you have the base part of the insert to the shadow box set up, what you want to do is duplicate all of the, well, not all of them, we'll say 4 of them. You want to duplicate the first 4 hearts. That way they're called spacers, so it gives you even more depth to your shadow box. So I'm just going to select, I'm going to go to my layers, I'm going to select and hold down Shift to continue the selection. So it's going to be, like I said, the first 4, and I'm going to hit duplicate. So now that those are duplicated, I want to group them So I'm doing all of this while it's still selected. And then I'm going to go to the eyeball, and that's going to hide it because I don't need them right now, but I do want to make sure I create them before I start modifying and changing the other hearts. So now that's set in the layers, I'm just going to kind of hide it. Now let's get started with the design part. So for the first layer, this is going to be the top layer. I am going to do a text. I'm going to put love. And I'll go to the drop down and I want to change the font. Let's say like maybe some sort of scripted font. I have one on here. It's called Hello. Some of these fonts you can get on your that are on your system. You can get from the font. There's so many different places out there. Cricut has a lot of fonts on here as well, but I want to do love. Now what I also want to do is make sure that I can weld everything and it comes together. So I am just going to zoom in by hitting the magnifying at the bottom left. So it's a plus and minus, so I just hit plus. That way I can see a little bit better. So I'm just going to kind of move it around, turn it, and I want to put it like right over here, maybe a little bit smaller. That looks good. So I'm just going to hold it right here in the middle of the heart before I weld it together. And I'm going to go up to the top menu, go to advanced, and ungroup the letters. And that way I can move it around because I want to get the L to touch so everything touches and so it can weld. So now that I have that, I want to hold down shift and go to the panel on the right side, the layers panel, and select O, V, and E, and then weld everything together. All right, everything's welded together, so it's one piece, because when I cut it, I want it to be one piece. So I'm going to slightly have it, I want it to touch. I think I want it to be a little bit larger. I want some parts of the E to touch as well as some parts of the L so that it welds nicely. So I think that looks good so far. So I'm going to keep that there. And then I want to add the year. And you can always add like the names or anything you would like, but I want to add the year. And I want to put that in the lower right corner. And you have options. You can easily take a pen and write on it, or you can have it cut out. On mine, I want to cut this out, so I'm going to put it there. So what I want to do first, before I do the complete welding, I'm going to hold down I'm going to have 2022 selected, hold shift, and then click on the heart that's cut out, and I'm going to hit slice. So now it's sliced out the words or the letters 2022. So I can either delete those. I'm just going to select and then delete. So on the layers panel on the right side, just hit delete, select, and there's two of them. So you're going to have to delete both of them. So that's going to cut out for me. And what I also can do is select and go into contour. And you see here in 2022, it has the circle. I can go ahead and just select that so it can just automatically cut that out, because really you're not going to be able to get the little, it's going to cut it out anyways. This just makes it a little bit cleaner. Okay, now that that's done, I want to select, make sure that the heart background is selected, and then love. So I'm going to hold shift down and select love in the control panel on the right side where it has the layers, and I'm going to hit weld at the bottom. Now it changed the color, and that's okay, because when it welds, it took the color of love. We're just going to change it back. So that's exactly what I want it to do, but I want to keep the light color. So I'm going to select, go to operation, the right box, and I'm going to go to the light, and now we're back to normal. Okay, so that's done. That's my first layer. Now my second layer, I want it to say Let's go with forever. So I'm going to put forever on here. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the text, type in forever, and I'm going to kind of hover over where I want it to do and then resize it. So in the four corners, the lower right corner is the sizing of it. And I just kind of want to place it. That's kind of, it's going to be probably a little bit smaller, but before I do that, I need to go to advanced while it's selected, ungroup letters, and just bring my F closer because I want it to touch. I want everything to touch. It just makes it easier when you cut it out and you don't have to worry about stuff splitting apart or not being a part of the design. So now that that's selected, I need to go over to my layers panel and hold down shift and select all the layers. And I'm just doing a left click. Once they're selected, I'm going to hit weld. And everything is now one piece. And that's what I want. So now I'm just going to place where I would like forever to go. And I want some of my R. There we go. And that looks like a good placement that I'm happy with. So I'm just going to select the forever and the background and weld those together. Okay, so now I have forever. Now we're going to move on over to the third layer. And on the third layer, I want this one to be like a nice little pretty, maybe like a sparkle and a heart. So I'm just going to go into the shape, see what we got going. I'm going to do a little heart. And I'm just going to resize it down. It's going to be cute out in the corner. And I'm just kind of playing with the size of it. I still want it to read that it is a heart. Then I'm going over to the shapes. And then additional shapes that are here, look like this little starburst. I want to select that one. And then size it down. I don't want it to be too large. But I also don't want it to be too thin where it's not going to cut really nicely as well. So I want to do a couple of those in the corner. I'm just going to duplicate and put one over here. Okay, that looks good to me. That's going to be a nice little sparkle in the background. I think I want to move this up just a little bit. Maybe get that one a little bit closer. And it's all preference, how you would like it. Now what I'm going to do to select all of those, I'm going to hold my mouse to the right. I'm going to hold down the left click button, and then I'm going to drag this window and make sure it touches my two starbursts, my heart, and then the background. So that selects everything, and I want to weld it together. So I'm going to go down to the layers panel underneath it and hit weld. That layer is now done. Time to move on. I am going to use this layer for my little couple. I saw a couple in Design Space and I want to jazz them up. So I'm going to go into images. I'm going to type in maybe couple. Since there's so many images, over 230,000 images at this time, you kind of want to have an idea of what you want. That way you can just go in here and type. So this one, oh, it's the second one that came up. I want to use this couple. So I'm going to select and add to canvas. I'm just going to move it down some because it's definitely large, but I'm going to go into some clear space because like I said, I want to kind of jazz them up, change them up just a little bit. So I want to give the female kind of a cute little curly look. So I'm going over to shapes and there's a scallops. And I want to kind of size it down to fit her head. I'm just going to change her hair up just a little. Like I said, I'm just going to jazz her up some. So there goes the female. And for the guy, wouldn't it be cute to give him maybe like a hat. Let's go with a fedora hat. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in. Okay, so now we have the fedora hats. They have some cute fedora hats in here. So I think the one that's going to go and work well with my couple, it's going to be this side, the first one. And because they are because the way that the direction they're facing, this would be perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and select it and go to add to canvas. And now I just need to resize it down so it fits over his head. And all I'm doing is sizing this down because fedora hats aren't that large. So that looks about right to me. So now what I want to do, on the right side, it has one of those, let me see. It has a hidden layer, but I'll address that after I do this part first. So let me go back in here. I'm going to do that left click and drag the window and select everything. And I'm going to weld it. So everything is welded. I like what I see so far. I think I might undo it. Just, no, that looks good. But to the right now it has the fedora hat and it's showing that it's hidden. So in the panel, I'm just going to go over here just to clean it up. I like my panel, my layer panel to be clean. So I'm going to select it and then just hit delete. Even though you couldn't see it anyways, I did want to clean it up and delete it. So though that's my couple, just jazz them up just a little bit. And now I want to put them in position where I would like them to go in my shadow box. So I want them to be like right here. Oh, I can do that large. That's actually kind of cute. Or I can make it smaller if I want to size them down just a little bit. So I'm scrolling, using the scroll on the side so it comes into view. I can make it just a little bit smaller. And there we go. I like that. So I'm going to now do my left click, drag the window, and I will weld it. And there we go. So far, I like it. Now, before I assemble everything, the last one, I just want to keep it as a heart at the back. I just want it to be a heart. I'm going to I'm going to change all of the colors to what I would like it to be. So the matte colors as well. So the first layer, I want that one to be red. I want a nice bright red. I want the first and my last layer to be red. I want my second layer, let's say pink. I want a nice pretty pink. My third layer, and this is just something that you can pre-plan. It's helpful if you do. I want that to be black. Actually, no, because that's my sparkle. So I want that to be like a silver. I have the silver foil that I want to use. And then my fourth, I want that one to be black like a silhouette. And now what I can do, I'm going to zoom out the magnifying in the bottom left so I can see all 5. I am going to do a left click in the corner, select all of them, and then I am going to go to align. Well, before I do, no, I can still do it. Align and center. So it looks a little crazy now because I need to move everything where it's supposed to go. So in the layers panel on the right side, I know my heart is at the bottom. Then my couple is above the heart. I know my love is at the top. And my sparkle is under forever. So this is what it's going to look like when I'm all finished. And it's almost ready to cut. All I need to do is, I'm going to group it so it moves together, but it won't affect how it cuts. I am going to the right side and I'm going to visually see my spacers. So what I do for the spacers, I actually use black for them. So I select and then I go to basic cut at the top under operation. It has a question mark when they're selected because they're all different colors. I'm going to select that question mark and then just go with black. Now it's all black. Now I am ready to send to my Cricut machine and cut it. So it will cut according to what color it is and what layer. So if I go to make it, it will automatically separate. So on mine I have the option without mat or on mat because I have the Cricut Maker 3, but I'm going to go with on the mat. And I'm going to use all cardstock with the exception of this craft board because I want to use my foil. But if you look to the left, it separates the colors and where they're supposed to go. So I will just go ahead and continue and make the cut, and I will see you shortly. Okay, so now that I have finished cutting out everything for the insert to my shadow box as well as a shadow box, I am going to start layering them inside. Now, I have it laid out where it's going to be top and then to bottom, and then these go behind the top ones. So if we were going to do, let's say, in reverse, I know this is going to go first because this was the last one. Then you just lay that right in here inside the shadow box. And then I'm going to do the spacer. This was the spacer. And that's going to go right in there. And all that is going to give me some thickness to the person. So it's cut, that spacer is cut the same size as the couple. And next, another spacer. And then you could start seeing like the 3D effect is going to occur. Then I wanted the shiny, it's a foil, it's craft paper, because I wanted to add some shininess to my little stars, my little bling and a little heart. And then the next one, another spacer. And you can start to see it pulling together. Then I wanted to add some pink that says forever to highlight the cute little couple. Then another spacer. And then the last part is I wanted to do the love and then the year 2022. And there I have it. Thank you for watching. This is Naya Lee. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to my channel for more videos.